Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution while viewing this program, because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children, and not for coworkers either.
Yeah! All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Your Two Dads. Today, we're going to talk about fat people. Yes, fat news. Good morning, everybody. Welcome
That's
back.
racist, JJ, or
I know.
something. It's something. By God, it's something. I don't know what it is, but that's something.
The fat race. It's the fat race. And I guess I'm racist against the fat race. You think that's possible? What if there was a fat race? Guys, we got some news today. We got some interesting news. It's been a difficult morning for me. It's been difficult. First, my wife was so sweet, and she was like, I'm not going to wake him up. Yeah, that's called sabotage. That's called sabotage when you got to get up and get the kids out of the house and get ready for a trade show and get ready for a morning show. You know, my sweet, darling wife, I'm just going to let him sleep. Yeah, I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to mess up his whole morning. So I've had a rough morning. My head's kind of, sometimes I got a headache. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so difficult morning. And you know what? You just got to get over
it. I can tell in your eyes that you're not as
100% there. I'm not 100%
I can just tell. I mean, no, I'm being serious. I can tell just in your eyes that, because I look at you every single morning, and I can tell in your eyes that you're like a little more tired or a little more. You're a little more tired.
Thing. I like the full screen and give you the whole display.
I screenshot you every day. I've got my wall right over here.
I'm printing out every episode. Yeah, right. Making a calendar for next year.
So I've got.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
The function print screen here. And get August the 30th. Today is a weird day in the world. Today is a super moon and a blue moon. Today.
Oh, cool! What's a blue moon? I know what a blood moon is.
A blue moon is a month where you get 2 full moons within 1 full month. So at the beginning of August, it was like August the 1st. We had a full moon, and so they were like, August is going to be one of those blue moon months where you have 2 full moons.
Is that what the song is about?
Blue moon.
Yeah.
Blue I don't moon. Keep shining bright. I guess I don't know. I really listen. I just know Elvis sings it. And supermoon is when the moon is the closest to the Earth in its elliptical orbit.
Right.
So
the cool thing about the moon. I know you've seen it before. You've been out at night and you've been like, "Oh my God, the moon is enormous." You've seen that. Before, right?
That's optical illusion.
Yeah, it's totally a trick.
Yeah,
you can just take your camera out and just take a picture of the moon, and then wait till later in the night when it doesn't look enormous and take a picture. It's the same size.
Yeah, and so so every once in a while, a certain time of the year, this road that I go down when I leave my house, I go and it goes up a hill, and that hill is due west. That hill is due west, like as west as you can get, because in the afternoon, if the sun is out, you can't see shit going up that hill. It's like a death hill, because you're like, I hope I don't get hit. I hope I'm still on this side of the road. But every once in a while throughout the year, the moon will be in it, and sometimes it's that big optical illusion moon.
Yeah, this is massive.
When you come up over that hill, you can see that it's so pretty, right? And just this one spot in the road twice a year. It's like, wow, I wish I had my camera ready for that. That was so pretty.
Yeah, but if you take a picture of it, it would look like normal moon. It would look exactly the same as any other time. Like the moon looks like a little dot. Like it doesn't. But it's amazing because your brain makes it up in your imagination. It's enormous, and you can see it. And and you should think that like the moon doesn't change. It really it orbits in and out just a little bit, but it doesn't actually get closer. It's not actually bigger, but you see it bigger. Well, what other things happen in your life that you see, and by God, I saw it. Shit wasn't real either. Your imagination.
I see things every day that I think are bigger than they actually do every time I go to the bathroom.
Listen, yeah, I know. I don't want to hear about your private stuff.
That is huge.
All right. Guys, today we got some fat news, but before we are allowed to do any news stories, we got to learn about music. It won't take long. Learn us some music, Deke.
Ooh, you're going to like this today. So this week we're doing celebrities. We're adding to our playlist. If you will go and look above JJ's head, abracadabra, and that appears just like poof. JJ blows it into existence. And so go there, get our, go to the deep playlist, and you can see all the cool songs that we add. This week we're doing celebrities that you may or may not have known had songs and bands and albums and stuff like that. So we did easy ones first. We're starting to get midweek, so we're chucking into some, I didn't know that. So hopefully by tomorrow and Friday, you'll be like, I had no clue. No clue, these people. So today I'm hoping to say I had no clue with Mr. Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood
has a song with Merle Haggard called Barroom Buddies. And so Merle can sing. Clint Eastwood does exactly what you would expect Clint Eastwood to do.
Does he grit his teeth and just be like,
kind of sings like this, and he's talking.
Take your chances.
Gonna go do this right now at the barroom, buddy.
Do you feel lucky?
Like. Yeah. This is from a movie, Bronco Billy, and the single is actually number one. Got to number one on the country Billboard charts back in the I think it was like the late 70s, maybe the middle 70s. I can't remember what year exactly, but yeah, Barroom Buddies. I played this on my radio station. It's a novelty type song. It's not one that you want to hear all the time, but Merle can sing, and Clint Eastwood just kind of does what you think Clint Eastwood.
Hey, it's kind of like this show. You got like one guy that's got talent and another guy that's just like hanging out.
And we can't
real talent can carry you guys a long way. Okay.
So there's your song today, Clint Eastwood. Tomorrow I'm going to blow your mind.
Oh, man. All right, guys, this morning. By the way, I don't think I said it a minute ago. We meet here every morning at 8 o'clock to drink coffee and talk about news, politics, fat people. We're going to talk about fat people today. Today's episode title for August 30th, 2023.
Fat people, like big fat.
Body fat is not a gun holster. I don't know why we have to announce. I don't know why we have to tell people this. Ladies and gentlemen, your body fat is not a gun holster. But apparently,
Please
we need to
explain, JJ, a little more deeply, because I am very intrigued.
Okay, according to Associated Press, 2 people were wounded at a White Sox game that likely involved gunfire inside the stadium. Police say
I heard about this, but I haven't heard any more than that headline.
We're gonna get to the twist. Okay. A shooting that involved wounded 2 women Friday night at the White Sox Oakland Athletics game. Most likely involved a gun that went off inside the Guaranteed Rate Field. Chicago's interim police superintendent said on Monday. Officials have said little about where the bullets came from, probably a gun, or if someone brought the gun into the stadium. But Fred Waller, interim superintendent, said Monday that investigators have nearly ruled out the possibility that the shots came from outside the ballpark. We're dispelling a lot of things. Waller said during a brief media availability, a shot coming from outside is something we've almost completely dispelled, but we're still looking at every avenue. It's still under investigation. Something from inside, it could have happened that way. We're looking at every avenue, exploring every lead and everything that we can get to. That's what they said yesterday. Today, we learned that an accidental shooting at a baseball game after a woman hides a gun in her fat folds. She snuck a gun into the stadium in between the layers of the fat of her body. And get this, the fat folds concealed the gun from a magnetic wand that was waved over her body.
Get
her
out of here.
fat
For real?
was more powerful than magnetism. A shooting that wounded 2 women. Oh, that's the story we're in. It turns out the shooting was accidental. A woman had hidden the gun in her fat folds, snuck it by security, which didn't detect it with a hand wand. And later,
she just forgot it was there.
It. I mean,
What
is
was
that
on the
impossible?
other side? I mean, did she have some chicken wings or something on the other side?
I normally sneak candy and popcorn and sodas into these things. Forgot that I went to the range yesterday. I forgot I left a gun between my 3rd and 4th fat folds on my right side.
I just have one question. One question. And I know everyone is thinking this. I'll be the one to ask it. What do you think the gun smelled like?
Oh man. I'm gonna imagine. No, I'm gonna stop your story. I'm gonna stop your story. I'm gonna imagine she had just taken a bath.
Standing in line at the Orioles game.
Yeah.
Game. Yeah. Yeah. Smell like
funky. As reported on ESPN 1000, a shooting at the Guaranteed Rate Field during a White Sox game was indeed an accidental discharge by one of the women grazed by a bullet. She reportedly snuck the gun past metal detectors, holding it in the folds of her belly fat, and then later it unintentionally discharged. That gun was like, fuck this. The gun was like, let me out of here. This is worse than every holster I've ever been in.
Yeah, exactly. Can't even do a big breath without coughing.
All right. Wouldn't it be great if that was all of the fat news that we had today?
I also have a story about things floating into sporting events.
Yeah, that's worse.
A little bit later.
That's worse. This is sad. So we need to take the chuckles off for real. This is not good. In Washington, D.C., a girl was fatally stabbed over a McDonald's sauce.
What?
One of 3 teens killed in the city last weekend. Girls reportedly began arguing over a sweet and sour sauce before the altercation turned physical. This is no joke. This is serious. A 16-year-old girl was stabbed to death in a dispute over sweet and sour sauce outside of a McDonald's in D.C. Another girl's been arrested and charged with her murder. Officers arrived to the local hospital shortly after 2 a.m. Sunday after receiving a report of a juvenile girl who arrived in a private vehicle seeking treatment for stab wounds. Police later learned that in the investigation that Ligon went to a 24-hour McDonald's in Northwest D.C. with another girl, ordered food, and then got into a car together. The girls began arguing. They were together. They went there together. The girls began arguing over sweet and sour sauce in the vehicle. When the altercation became physical, the teens exited the vehicle and continued fighting outside the McDonald's. This is absolutely crazy. They were still at McDonald's. They could have just gone in and gotten some more sauce.
No shit.
What the hell, man?
This is an example of, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. I'll be the one to say it. This is an example of everything that has gone wrong in society. These girls probably did not have any kind of support system, home system. They probably had the lowest form of education out there. They probably were forced to go to school, but they did not study or learn. And what they learned was what the people call street smarts, which is, yeah, I understand what street smarts is, but you can't. Anyway, these stuff like this happens. It's not even sad.
It's tragic.
I don't even think it's tragic anymore. I look at it like one of the gazelles has got to die for the lion to eat. That's just a part of nature. And stupid people are going to do stupid shit to off themselves, and that's just a part of nature. Maybe I'm a bad person for thinking and feeling this, but I have no sympathy for something like this with idiots and people and argue. I just don't.
I mean, why are 2 16-year-olds out at 2 a.m.? in
If you're going to kill each other over sweet and sour sauce and standing in the middle of a McDonald's parking lot when you can, like you said, you could go get more or what, then thinning of the herd. We don't need those
Man.
stupid people to reproduce.
No, I mean that's
how I look at
insensitive to the family of survivors.
Then
but
I'm
there's
insensitive
a lot
to
of
families.
there's
I'm
a
an
lot of
asshole then.
there's
I
probably
can't
a lot of blame to go around in terms of the rearing of both of these girls.
Well, I'm glad that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to be. I don't care. I don't have
Okay.
any sympathy
All right.
for strangers that do that. I
Well-
just don't care. And if they don't have any sympathy for me and my family, I don't care. I'm not asking them for any. You know what I mean?
So we're gonna circle back to fat people here. There's a do you ever watch those like man in the street videos? Like, you know, it's just a guy and his camera or mic or whatever walks down the street and just asks people questions.
There's some of those that you'll see every once in a while nowadays that are interesting, but you got to realize that nowadays, even back then, you get nitpicked on what you get to see.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They could ask 100 people questions and they're gonna put like
you're going to see two.
They're 5 stupidest people that like there's no way that you get picked for a man. If you're the guy walking down the street and somebody asks you a question, there's no way that you're not going to get just embarrassed because you're going to say something stupid.
It was like the Jay Leno thing that he used to do, or Jimmy Fallon, or one of them. I think it was Jay Leno, and he used to go out.
It's been a late show thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was for a long time. That's a skit, and they would go and ask people easy history questions, and these people would get them wrong, and it was hilarious. And then it got sad because you're like, these people are really that stupid. Well, they probably ask 500 people, and you're seeing 20. You know, they ask people on the street all for 2 weeks setting up for this bit, and you're seeing 20. You know, the 20 worst ones. So that's what we used to do in radio. We'd prepare, hey man, October's coming up. What are we going to do for Halloween? You know, we would already be preparing for Halloween. What are we going to do for our skit for Halloween, our bit for Halloween on the air for Halloween week? And we would go ahead and start preparing for that and getting it ready.
We did that last year.
What are you listening to?
I'm not. I'm just bouncing around. I'm trying to be
Stay
happy and upbeat. Yeah.
You look like you're listening to music.
So, all right. So this guy, Malik Lee Larim, I'm going to call him Malik Larim, released a pretty funny and shocking episode of a little series he has, Man versus the Street, yesterday. And his big question going out to the audience was, is being fat healthy? Now, dear audience, you're probably like me and thinking like, of course it's fucking not healthy. Well, we lived in a different time, I guess. People have been fat my whole life, but it's always been like, that's not good. And I've been fat. Deke, I think you've been fat.
I was a fat kid.
Too many calories, not enough activity.
I only look like this now for what, like a year?
Yeah. You're like 50 pounds lighter than I saw you in 2018. Yeah, and you weren't even fat then, But there's this kind of like notion of fat acceptance. You know what I mean? This fat acceptance. So Larim was on a mission. He wanted to find out whether fat acceptance had gone too far. And when he asked if Lizzo is healthy, some young people, we're talking 20, 25 years old, is Lizzo healthy? One woman said, fuck yeah, she's vegan. Lizzo, you got to get a wide angle lens to get Lizzo on camera.
Look, this is a sensitive subject, just like everything, I guess, is a sensitive subject anymore, I guess.
Right.
But is Lizzo healthy in your opinion?
No,
she's not healthy.
No. Not only is she not healthy, she's probably mentally unstable.
Ask
and
Kevin
apparently
Smith
some sort of a sexual
that
deviant.
Question. Or ask who was the other one I just saw a picture of not too long ago? Was it Seth Rogen? No. It wasn't Seth Rogen. It was
remember that guy? It was there was a guy from a comedy show we covered it about 3 months ago. And I showed you the photo and you're like,
Ethan Suplee.
Yeah.
My name is Earl. He was always
jacked.
huge.
He went the other way.
Now he's jacked. He's super
Yeah.
healthy. Ask them if they were healthy back when they were overweight and whatnot.
Right.
Overweight
Yeah.
people
Now, I mean,
know that
Kevin Smith would have spent 30 years telling you I'm fine the way I am
exactly.
because he was in massive denial.
Exactly. Exactly.
And he probably knew he was in massive denial, but he went on.
I had a really close friend that was 1 year older than me, and him and we had 3 of us that were all in radio. We met in radio, and he was my brother. His name was Rody, and he did this weekend party show on the country station called the Outlaw Hours. And this guy, he could work a phone like no one that I've ever seen in radio could do it. He could answer that. Those all 4 lines would be blinking for hours because it was the hottest radio show around. People called for hours. It was a 4-hour show. And for 3 hours, it was started at 10 p.m. and at 2 a.m. people are still calling. He could talk to you like you were your friend on every single one of those. He was the best. He was 6'6" and weighed 550 pounds.
Oh my God.
I could not get I remember one day he came up to me and he had lost 200 pounds. And he said, look, I've lost 200 pounds. I'm down to 350 something pounds. And when I hugged him, I could almost, I was like, wow, I could get close. We judged by how close if I could touch the tips of my fingers when I hugged him. And about 6 or 7 years ago, he never really lost the weight. He was always an overweight man. And about 6 or 7 years ago, he got up one morning and got ready and got in his car and put his key in his ignition, put his foot on the brake, had a massive heart attack and died right there in his car going to work.
Yeah.
And I miss him that thing I used to do, the covered dish that I used to have to wait.
Yeah.
That was his idea when we were on a radio station. I do that to honor him. He was like my brother, and he was overweight. And I think about that all the time. And you bringing this up makes me think about my friend Jeremy.
Yeah.
Would he still be here
family
if he would have
died.
lost weight? I think so. He had a massive heart attack, died with his foot on the brake.
There's big people and small people, right? There's tall people, short people, and there's fat people and there's thinner people, but we all have roughly the same size heart. And like, if your body mass is like twice as much as somebody else, your heart has to work twice as hard to get blood and oxygen and to your body.
People, that's just
and you can do that for a while.
Some people, that's just
you're gonna wear your shit out.
Shitty genetics and shitty roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's nothing you can do about it. Like my friend Rody, he was 6'6". If he got down, he would never be. If he got down to 200 pounds, he would look like a cancer patient.
That's true.
He had to, so. Some people have different genetics. I've got another really good friend that is my D&D buddy who's 6'8" and weighs like 300 pounds. And he is not.
Yeah.
You look at him and you're like, you're not fat at all. He weighs 300 pounds.
Yeah. But people walking around with this excess weight, and Lizzo going out there and acting like it's okay. And, like she's perfectly fine. They're feeding into this neuropathy of crazy people that are just like, oh, it's fine. It's just a different kind of person. No, it's the kind of person whose life is going to be dramatically shortened.
There's a difference between body acceptance and accepting that you need to get healthy. It's okay to look at yourself and go, I like myself. I don't care if I'm overweight here. I don't care if when I wave, I got the bye-bye arm and it flaps.
Yeah.
I don't care about these things with myself. But you might need to know that this, like JJ said, this is not good for my heart. Can I run 100 yards? Can I do some inclined push-ups against the wall? 20 of those without. If you can't, then you're not healthy.
Yeah,
I'm not healthy, and I'm skinny as a rail. I can't put on weight.
Right.
This diabetic drink that I drink right here you can see it at the bottom. I'm constantly shaking it because it has a coconut.
It settles.
It separates. The coconut goes to the top and my protein goes to the bottom because I put protein powder in it because I need to gain weight. I need to gain weight so bad. So that's, I mean.
All right. Well, we're not shitting on fat people, but
no.
it's not really about that. It's like you can't. Not only can you not like live in your own delusion that you're going to be
That's
fine,
it.
but some people like Lizzo are leading people into further delusion. And they go around and they say stuff like, "Oh, it's okay," because they know in their own personal lives they have some other fucked up stuff that's fucked up, and they don't want to call other people out and then get called out for something else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really what's going on.
Yeah. The only thing that we're saying is, be happy with yourself. I mean, us as dads want our daughters and our sons, our daughters especially, sons too. My son used to get made fun of playing baseball when
but girls are especially vulnerable to social pressure.
Be happy with yourself and be body positive, but maybe realize that maybe you need to take a change with some unhealthy habits that you have, and maybe it's just stop drinking all of the sodas and switch to water. Coconut milk and the water and the little strawberry flavor packets. That's actually Hawaiian Punch, and it tastes just like Hawaiian Punch. It has 0 sugar and like four carbs. And that whole thing, 4 carbs.
That's good. That's pretty good. All right. Let's see. Let's move on to some other news. Deke, it's been a little while since we talked about this, but Project Veritas.
Yes.
You remember Project Veritas? For years, Project Veritas was like the light shining in the darkness, illuminating liars and the corrupt and everything else, catching bad people on tape, catching bad guys on tape. And earlier this year, Project Veritas fired James O'Keefe. Or, according to James O'Keefe. According to Project Veritas, they never fired him. They just wouldn't let him do his job. They put him on indefinite leave. Yeah. So following the dismissal of James O'Keefe and the suspension of his duties as president for that organization, the support for the organization completely collapsed and evaporated. James O'Keefe was not only the man responsible for the heart of the mission of Project Veritas, he was responsible for bringing donors in to fund the operation so that reporters could go out, catch stories, catch people, catch liars. And what happened was Veritas was captured at the board administrative level, and they got rid of their political enemy, James O'Keefe. That's what happened. And ever since then, the organization has been withering. They have money in the bank, but they don't have revenue coming in. So what do you do when you have an organization with money in the bank and no revenue coming in, but you have big expenses? You cut your expenses.
Absolutely.
You keep that money. So you can keep dishing that money out to your executives or whoever. So we have this project. This story posted in August 17th, and then we have another update. On August 17th, the Post Millennial had an exclusive chaos at Project Veritas. Almost all employees have been laid off. This was like 2 weeks ago. As soon as it was posted on Twitter and Telegram, it was gone, but reports are coming in from Project Veritas staff that they've all been fired. A source told the Post Millennial that the chief financial officer will be replaced by George Sakal tonight. And so that was Jack Poso that posted that. Only 18 people were left on staff, and that included some executives and maybe some tech people or whatever. But basically all the reporters were gone. Now we have this. Project Veritas board members George Skakal, and John Garvey resign. Here you go. Giles, who took the CEO position in June, has overseen the demise of Project Veritas. Garvey resigned earlier this month, but the Connecticut Sentinel confirmed the resignation with management. Skakal accepted the position of chief financial officer in a secret board meeting earlier this month. This is just it. Veritas is dead. Project Veritas is dead. It's been succeeded by O'Keefe Media Group. And what is remaining is a big bucket of money with the Project Veritas label on it. And it's just going to get emptied out by some bad folks.
Yep.
let's see. A new group of journalists called Sage Ops, made up of Veritas alumni, confronted Giles with a mic and camera, only to have their ask for the reveal of audit results be denied. Did James commit self-inurement? I don't even know what inurement means. Do you know what the word inurement means? I don't know what that means. Inurement. Sage Ops, they asked Giles and colleague Joe Barton who. Inurement.
Spell it again.
Inurement. I don't know what that means.
An older term for benefit. To benefit.
Oh, okay. The one thing I will talk about is the audit report. The board decided not to release that. No one's going to see that except for the board for reasons that do not have to be disclosed. Oh, okay. So probably Veritas did an audit of all of the expenses from James O'Keefe and found that they didn't have any good cause or reason to fire him. And if they released that, he could probably sue
their asses.
Yeah. So we're not going to release that report. The letter from the employees to the board, which resulted in O'Keefe's ouster, read, "The undersigned is troubled and frustrated with James' management style and business acumen. These behaviors and actions are antithetical to our core values and came to a head this week." Yeah, that was garbage. This was all just a political power play by some and you know what? It's like this probably in every organization. You start an amazing organization and you're one guy. But you got like a core person or core team that is like talent, drive, motivation, and they have the will to get things done. But there's so much to be done. You got to bring in some other people. Got to bring in some other people. Got to bring in some other reporters. Got to bring in some staff. Got to bring in some secretaries, and then the whole organization continues to do really well. And those secretary and staff and ancillary characters, people that do they check the mail for you, they start to think that they are the superstars. They start to think that they are the ones that make things happen.
Shit. My first damn, I just saw her pull up. God damn it. I
can't. What's up? She's here already?
She's already fucking here. I'm going to have to close this door. I'm going to have to put her out and close the door.
All right.
Tell her. All right, I got a story.
Right.
I want to throw this in because I wanted to point this out. Did you hear that Eminem had Ramaswamy to quit using "Lose Yourself" because I guess he had performed this little impromptu rap with "Lose Yourself." Well, Eminem got mad because Marshall is very, very far left as you can get. Well, man, this is why I like this guy. He is so smooth.
Ramaswamy?
Did you hear Did you hear how he responded?
No.
All right. So in an interview Tuesday with MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell, the Republican presidential candidate said he will respect the Detroit rapper's wishes and stop using the O2 hit. The rap god artist recently, okay, but we all know that. Okay, this is what he said. "I would just say, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Eminem in his rise used to be a guy who actually stood up to the establishment and said the things that the establishment didn't want him to say. I think the fact that my political viewpoints may differ from his, I think people change over the course of their lives, but I have hope for him that he will one day rediscover the renegade that made him great, and I'm rooting for that success in his life." How awesome was that? That was beautifully spoken, don't you think?
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, like, I don't really think of Eminem as a profoundly political fella. He probably has like whatever attitudes he has. He's probably default Democrat. He grew up in like Detroit or something like that. Default Democrat. Never challenged those ideas, and certainly has probably some views about people that have had hard struggles and all of that stuff. Like I don't really care that Eminem's a Democrat. I've always thought his music was exceptional. There are other exceptional people out there, but Vivek loves this song and loves this guy too.
Well, wait a minute. Let me just point out one thing. I just want to say one thing. Okay, I will say it. I'll be the person to say it. Eminem is the prime example of white privilege.
Oh, you think so?
And I hate that term. I hate that term. He's a prime example of white privilege.
Why?
Why? Because he grew up poor just like me, just like everybody else. All right. What did he do in Detroit? You watched that movie. What did he do?
I didn't watch that movie.
Struggled. Okay. He struggled and he rapped, he struggled and he rapped and he was good at what he did. All right. There's no denying that he was a good
exceptional
at coming up with poetry.
Are you losing people, Deke? You're losing people.
I don't care. I don't care. All right. Somebody needs to say this. He's white privilege because how many other rappers in Detroit at that time were just as talented as him? And why did he get noticed over them? Why? What's the one thing that got him noticed over them, JJ?
I'm not gonna. I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not gonna imagine that. I think he was spitting fire at the age of 18, and I'm
not saying he wasn't spitting fire at the age of 18. I'm not saying that. Very talented individual. I'm saying he's a prime example of white privilege. You just have to say you need to. Think about that
I do not agree with you. I don't agree with you.
That's fine. You don't have to. I still love you.
I'm over here resisting the temptation to pull up karaoke and just
term. I hate that term. You're aboard the Eminem train. You need to get on the Skittle bus. All right, I'm done.
All right, let's see. All right, let's see what else we have. Man is arrested after finding a bag full of $5,000 cash in a parking lot. A Connecticut man. Come on now. A Connecticut man says it felt like he won the lottery when he discovered a bag with $5,000 in cash in a parking lot. So he decided to keep it. And 3 months later, he has been charged with larceny. It turns out the bag, which Trumbull police said was clearly marked with a bank's insignia and found outside the same bank containing cash from the town's tax department. And there were numerous documents inside identifying the rightful owner of the cash, as the town of Trumbull police said. The man, Robert Withington, 56, of Trumbull, contends that he didn't steal the money. He didn't notice anything inside the bag indicating who the owner was, despite the deposit slip and the bank information on the bag. It's not like this was planned out. I just found a bag.
I know.
Bro, did you never watch any of those cartoons when you were a kid? It was like if you find a wallet, you just give it to the police, or you give it. Put it in their mailbox.
This dude so desperately wanted to be that. I found a bag of money on the side of the road.
I won the lottery. No, you want to
the bank statements inside the bag, dude.
You dummy. Come on, people.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you in that story, do you think he should be charged? Do you think he should be charged? Or do you think they should be like, quit being an idiot?
I mean, it's $5,000, so it's probably a
felony, I bet. Yeah,
it's probably a felony.
That would be a felony.
Wow, the stupidest criminal ever. Somebody probably just dropped the bag of money when they were loading in the vehicle. They brought out a bunch of bags and they're heavy and they set them down. They started loading them up. They missed one, slipped under the bumper or something like that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. All right.
I
got another good one here for you, JJ,
okay.
So we can get all these good funny ones out here first, because I got about 5 or 6 more, 10 more minutes. All right. So Chicago television crew is out really early in the morning. You got a young guy. He's about 24, 25 years old. And you've got an older cameraman,
right?
In his 40s, mid 40s or whatnot, our age. And they're out there trying to get a morning shot and a morning story for their local television station.
Yeah.
And the particular story that they are doing this morning happens to be on all of the string of robberies that's been going on in this particular Chicago area. So they're going to
footage to cover the crime wave.
Highlight the string of robberies that's going on. And while at 5 a.m. in the morning, and while they're filming and they're getting everything ready, a van rolls up and they're robbed of everything. Their camera, the television camera, personal items.
Terrible.
So, I mean, I don't know how much of a for real story you got.
I mean, the story starts with
mainstream media is going to extremes now to throw this in your face.
The story starts with Chicago. Oh yeah, it's crime.
That's the only thing you need to know. Yeah, that
100% crime. You guys are lucky you weren't shot.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it happened in Chicago. The victim.
And you know what?
What?
Give it all to them. Like, take it. It's not mine. This is
Yeah.
all not my stuff.
The victim's 28-year-old man, 42-year-old man say that they took a bunch of personal items and the television camera and took off. So there you go.
I mean, if that's your job if that's your cameraman, your camera driver or whatever, take all of your personal stuff, leave it at the office. Take your driver's license. That's it. Put the gas in the truck, company card. Don't take any of your personal stuff. And then some of you get robbed, just take all of it. It's take all of it. It's none of it's mine. It's not my stuff.
Now this television stations are actually talking to the National Association of Broadcast Employees and Technicians. Says that they want these people to start having security crews going out to some of these places, especially at night and stuff like that. I can imagine in Chicago. I mean, not around my hometown. You wouldn't need it.
Is this the same Chicago that likes to defund police and is sanctuary city for?
I didn't say police.
Right?
You could have.
Yeah, I know, but like if you defund the police, but you're going to pay extra for security, is that what they should do?
Well, it sounds like a logical plan.
You know what you guys should do? Get the fuck out of Chicago and every other major city that's corrupt and run by obvious losers. Hey, gas prices are on the rise. Have you noticed the gas prices going up, Deke?
Ours usually stay a little lower than what they say the national average is. So if the national average is $3.55 right now, ours around here, you can usually get it for in the mid $3.30s. We're usually 20 cents lower gas prices than what about y'all in Texas?
Last time I filled up was about $3.50, but
you're higher.
I live in Houston.
You live in a city, yeah.
I live in Houston and I live on the coast. So we're like right by the oil as it's coming in or coming through. So the transportation cost to get fuel to me is less than it costs to get to Dallas, to get to other places.
Yeah, but why is it cheaper for me? Why is it more expensive for you?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the price is at this very moment, but gas prices are up 63 cents as gloomy data casts doubt on rosy Bidenomics. But Joe Biden's out there touting Bidenomics and it's working. It's bringing inflation down. Except here's Joe Biden. The numbers are clear. Our economy remains strong. Joe Biden said earlier this month, citing the consumer price index data that shows inflation having dropped to a 3-year low. However, some economists are pointing out that the CPI does not really tell the full story. The CPI, which has always been a measure of inflation, now faces some criticism in the ways in which it inadequately calculates the costs of middle and working class households. In particular, the CPI includes luxury items, things like homes, cars, extra things like that, and it does not weight. It does not weight into its calculation more significantly things like chicken, beef, milk, eggs, potatoes, items of substance, commodities of substance. So the CPI, by weighing in things like luxury items, has an appearance of coming down a lot because, inflation is down on big ticket items, but the stuff that you buy every week to feed your family doesn't weigh that stuff as much. So the CPI is not a good measure, but that doesn't stop the president from going out there and saying, "Oh, the CPI is down. That means inflation is down for 3 years. We're doing a great job." Gas prices, for example, are up almost 20% this year alone. 20% up. Absolutely. And they are 71% higher than 3 years ago. Gas prices are 71% higher than they were in 2020.
Gas prices are 71% higher than they were in 2020. 71%. Yeah. And I just had a guy asked me if I could do this. It's judged this competition, but it's like 3 hours away. And that was one of the things that I was talking to Ashley about last night was like, I would go do this judging thing for this competition for this guy, but I can't budget the gas.
Yeah. 6 hours of gas.
6 hours of gas to go to Eastern Kentucky. No, I can't do that.
Right. Bureau of Labor and Statistics data shows that in the last 12 months, food costs have risen 4.9%, and rent is up 8%, and transportation services are up 9%. So if all those things go up, That means less and less money in your pocket to cover things. And it also means the transportation of costs to get those goods to market goes up. So like inflation is just this thing that is not only real bad, but it causes things to get worse faster. Right. But hey, Bidenomics.
The house that we rented for about 7 years before we bought, you remember when we bought the house a couple of years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everything went up. We were able to get the house and whatnot, but we had rented for 7 years and we had looked for a long time. I found out our rent doubled. When we moved out, it doubled.
Yeah.
What we were paying just overnight.
Yeah.
Landlord just doubled it.
You have to. I mean,
He didn't have to.
Yeah.
That house that we were renting ended up, it was sold at auction in the 90s for like $40,000.
Okay. Yeah.
The people that I knew,
but you know what? He probably could have raised.
House been paid for 1,000 times.
He probably could have raised rent number of years over the time that you were there, but he raised it only a little instead of raising it a lot.
He could. There's what you said. He could have.
Yeah.
Not he has to.
No. But if you were still in there and he didn't raise it as much as he could have because you guys were there and you were good tenants or whatever, then once those tenants move out, then you adjust market prices up to what you can get for the property.
What you can get. See, it's your wording.
Yeah, but it's your
wording here.
It was a home for you. It's a business for him. Of course, you get what you can get out of it. You get market value out of it if you can. It's honestly, that is the only way. That is the best. That's the best way for you to build wealth, though, is for you to.
That's why I love you.
Yeah, that's the best way to build wealth. All right, we got anything? What else we got? You got another show you got to do here in a few minutes. Oh, we got one story here I want to get to.
I got one more little funny story. Is this
this isn't funny. This is serious. There's a report on Breitbart.com that ISIS connected contractor has smuggled Uzbekistani migrants across the border into the United States of America. We're not talking about Mexicans coming across the border with coyotes and cartels. We're talking about ISIS terrorists getting Uzbekistanis into the country. And people crossing the border are from all over the world. We've seen that over the last year. It's Chinese. It is people in the Middle East. It's people from Africa, from North Africa, from Europe, all over the place. The border is wide open. The FBI is reportedly investigating human smuggling network that is helping move Uzbek migrants across the border into the U.S. And at least one of them is a suspect is connected to the ISIS terrorist organization. Earlier this year, a cohort of migrants from Uzbekistan requested asylum and were screened by the DHS as part of a number of rising asylum seekers who traveled from Central Asia in recent years. There's no information on and let me just cut this short. The National Security Council spokeswoman told the news network CNN that officials are working to identify and assess all of the migrants who are apprehended and subsequently released into the United States interior. So we have terrorist network connected ISIS people bringing Uzbekistanis into the United States, and we know about it. We catch them and we release them. We give them a phone. We have them check their app, and there they go. They're in. All right. So, all right. Deacon's got another show he's got to do, and we're about out of time here. There was this one other cool story. Oh, there's Deke. Hey, we got this one other cool story. I just thought we would holler at this. Apparently, the remnants of a Roman society have been found in the Alps.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. I wanted you to read this story. I wanted to be around when you read this.
Oh, this one here? I want to get down to the second photo, and then I'm going to yuck a little bit. So an archaeological sensation houses a treasure trove of objects that likely belonged to the region's elite. So you can see in this photo, if you can see it well at all, there's kind of like a little foundation here. It looks like the remnants of foundations or walls of and busted up rocks. It just looks like piles of rocks. It's probably foundations or walls of little buildings and rooms. For the first time in almost a century, a team of archaeologists have discovered stone walls dating back to the Roman Empire in Zug, Switzerland. The Alpine state in the central portion of the country is known for hockey, beautiful scenery, and some other archaeological finds. In a press release, the Office for the Preservation of Monuments and Archaeology called the finding an archaeological sensation. And while excavating a gravel pit, the team uncovered a 2,000-year-old Roman walls that once protected a building complex. That's pretty neat stuff. They also found some iron nails, piece of plaster, gold fragments, possibly from jewelry, millstones, glassware, crockery bowls, or whatever. And here, look, you have a picture of this stuff. We have a photo here. It includes an amphora base, the shard of mortar, the rim of a small bowl, tableware, some coins. You got some coins there. And this says a blue glass bowl. But if you look super close, let's see if we can get like real close into this. If you look super close, this looks like a Coke bottle.
It is a Coke bottle.
There is a number written on the written on that. So yeah.
Made in Detroit. 10 cents.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
so
cool,
I guess
though.
you saw that too. I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. All right.
All right. I got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. You got a joke
do-
or no joke?
Yeah, I got a joke. You want to hear
a
it?
joke. Yeah.
All right. I wrote a book about reverse psychology. Please don't buy it.
Deke.
Yeah.
What do you do if you see a spaceman? What do you do if you see a spaceman?
I don't know.
Park.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right. I got to run. See you.